Niners fans, it's about that time. 8 o'clock on a Monday night. We are less than 24 hours away from the start of training camp. I couldn't be more excited, faithful Niner Empire. But first, I got to say what's up to everyone. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. I have to say, faithful, I am very concerned. Very concerned. I've been having trouble sleeping at night lately because Trey Lance has yet to sign his rookie contract. I mean, what is going on, faithful? I don't understand what's going on. I made a video about Trey Lance not signing his contract maybe about, I don't know, maybe less than 7 days ago, and everyone was like, "Oh, Jay, you tripping? He gonna get the deal signed." You know what I'm saying? And I hope he does. I hope he does get his contract signed. But we are less than 24 hours away from training camp. Actually, the players report tomorrow morning, so we're about 12 hours away from the start of training camp. And this is a problem. This is a 5-alarm fire. Niner Empire. Trey Lance is not the only player from this year's draft to not still have signed his rookie contract. Zach Wilson, the quarterback for the Jets, he's yet to sign his rookie contract. And I believe the Chargers first-round pick, the tackle, Slater, I believe his last name is, he's yet to sign his rookie deal. I looked all this information up. I saw an article, and these were the three players who were still unsigned in the first round of the draft. So this is definitely a problem with Trey Lance and all the first-round rookie draft picks. It's not about the money. It's about the language in the contract. And obviously, we're not privy to that information. But, I don't know what the holdup is. I mean, what is the holdup, faithful? Hopefully Trey is, obviously tomorrow, for those that don't know, there won't be any on-field activities for training camp tomorrow. Basically, there'll just be in-classroom study and physicals. But on Wednesday morning, the players are on the field. And hopefully, all 90 players will be present, including Trey Lance. And if he doesn't sign his contract, he won't be in training camp. Yeah, this is definitely a problem. But first, this show is nothing. This show is nothing without the fans, without the faithful, without the Niner Empire. And also, of course, I welcome all other fans of the NFL. You can definitely tune into the stream and enjoy yourself some Jay in the Bay. But let's say what's good to the people in the chat. Chimpanzee, he says, yes, sir. I want to say, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Amin the Dream, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Amin. I saw you on First Takes yesterday. Pretty good stuff. You're very knowledgeable, man. I appreciate your take on a lot of 49er topics. CG Ruthless Sports, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, CG. Congratulations, CG. You got your 2,000 subscribers, man. That's a major milestone, and the hard work is definitely paying off. And keep doing what you're doing, CG. I also saw I was watching your YouTube that you had with your video with Mauro Tanaka, the AZ Cardinals fan. And he was an excellent guest. And keep doing what you're doing, CG. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Amin the Dream says Jay in the Bay is a goat, or is that a dog? I don't know. What is that? Maybe that's a goat. But I think you mean well with this comment. So I appreciate you, Amin the Dream. Let's see. Payo time. What's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream, man. No. Now, Payo time. He is the hardest working man in StreamYard. You got videos coming out all over the place. Payo time. I'm trying to keep up with you, Payo. But Payo time says, hey, Jay, how is the hardest working man in the StreamYard? I appreciate you coming through, Payo. Coach Dante, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Coach Dante. How you doing on a Monday? Monica, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Hopefully your Monday is going well. David Renteria back in the building. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. I mean, am I tripping? Am I the only one that should be concerned that Trey Lance has not signed his rookie deal? I mean, this is a problem. This is a 5-alarm fire. Faithful. Am I the only one that's been having trouble sleeping? I mean, this guy he has yet to sign his rookie deal. I don't think he's going to hold out. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I just don't understand what's taking so long. I just don't get it. JC 49 Fish, Niner for life. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. Appreciate everyone hitting the thumbs up for the stream. Also, if you haven't, appreciate you subscribing to your boy Jay in the Bay. Let's see what it do. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. I'm loving that avatar. I wish Prime Time could have stayed with the 49ers for more than one season. Man, I wish he would have stayed with the Niners. I wish he would have retired as a 49er. But unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition. Waruna, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Also appreciate you coming through to the stream, Waruna. I think that was that last night or the day before you came into the stream. I appreciate you coming through, and I'm glad you're back again. He says, "How are you all?" And I'm loving that avatar you have. Faithful to the Bay. Coach Dante says, "How you doing, brother?" I'm doing pretty good. Besides the Trey Lance thing, I'm doing pretty good. I hear that Deshaun Watson is expected to be at the Texans training camp, but he is still expecting, to be traded, or he wants to be traded. How do you feel about that, Dante? Do you want him to stay your franchise quarterback, or do you think the Texans should have traded him a long time ago to get compensation? What do you think? Chimpanzee says, "Good, and you?" Monica says, "Payo, the streams keep rocking tonight. Seen you in like 4 streams today." Payo was making the rounds. Payo putting in that work. I see you, Payo. David Renteria says he probably wants more money. Now, that's a great comment because long are the days of first round picks holding out for money. The last first round pick, I believe that was Sam Bradford back in 2010, 2011. He got like $70 million. Those days are long gone, David. The first round pick contracts, the money is slotted, meaning you can't get more, you can't get less. It is what it is. And for instance, this year, Trevor Lawrence, he got $36 million, 4-year contract. Zach Wilson is scheduled to make $35 million, and then Trey Lance should make 34, 33, something like that. So it's not about money. It's most likely about the language in the contract. And we're not privy to that, but it could be anything from when you get your bonus, what happens if the Niners cut Trey or whatever. Does he get all of his money? When does he get it? So there's a lot of things in the contract that as fans, we're not privy to, but, I'm definitely concerned, because I don't understand what's taking so long. And, we're on the heels of training camp. Let's see. Monica says, "It's all good, Jay. Don't trip. They live these last minute deals." I feel you, Monica. I appreciate your optimism. I appreciate your optimism. That's for sure. Seahawks Eddie, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Seahawks Eddie. How you doing on this Monday night? Sammy Pagayo, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Sam A, he says, "Aloha from Maui, Jay in the Bay. Let's go Niners." That's right. All right. Maui. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. I wish I could be there sooner than later. That's a beautiful place. But thanks for tuning in to the stream. Let's see. I have a lot of comments. Let me make sure I get to the people. Monica says, "Bet it happens later tonight when I'm working." Yeah, it's probably going to happen like tonight. Trey's going to put ink to paper at around, maybe like 11:59 p.m. But we'll see. 49ers first take. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. First takes. He says, I bet he signs tomorrow. I mean, I hope so. I just hope it's before Wednesday. Uh, and yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. David says Trey is like Michael Crabtree when he was a rookie. They took forever to sign his rookie deal. Yeah. I mean, and especially when it's the quarterback, you need all the time you can get, to learn the playbook, learn the offense, be able to read defenses. Like you need all the time you can get on the field. And hopefully I'm just worrying for nothing and Trey will sign tonight or tomorrow. Monica says early morning like Trent. Yeah, Trent, when he signed his deal, it was like 2 a.m. or something like that. So, man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maruna says might be some contract issues about guaranteed money, but not worried yet about Lance not signing. Okay, well, I mean, we are 10 hours away from start of training camp, 10, 12 hours. Obviously, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. I don't think he's going to hold out, but we cutting it pretty close, Maruna. You got to admit, we are pretty close. Coach Dante says, yeah, he's expected to be at training camp, and we're talking about Deshaun Watson. The only reason he did because they're going to fine him $50,000, but not showing up, but he still wants to be out. Yeah, so I guess it's a good business move on his part to show up and still request to be traded. Let's see. CG Ruthless says 2K milestone. Congrats again, brother, man. You earned it, and keep putting out that good content, man. Corey Davis, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Corey. He says, hello, Jay and the Bay. I have seen the guy that called himself 49ers Nation. Okay. And I appreciate you coming through to the stream, Corey. How you doing on a Monday? Monica says, agreed with Runa. Not worried. All right. Pale Time says, thanks, Monica. Haha. And yeah, I love learning and supporting from other YouTubers. Been cool seeing you. Yeah, we've got a great community of 49er YouTubers, Rams YouTubers, Seahawks, and Cardinals. And like Pale Time says, we're a dysfunctional NFC West family. But we treat each other with all respect, and it's cool to support each other. So just like Coach Dante says, he still wants to be traded, and you don't want a disgruntled guy in your locker room. No, that's true. Good point about Deshaun Watson. The oldest barber, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. I seen that you left comments on some of my YouTube videos, but for some reason YouTube is flagging the comment. I'm not sure why, but that's why I haven't responded. If you're wondering, because I've seen you left a few comments, but for some reason YouTube has been flagging your comments, and I haven't been able to see the entire comment. And then when I click on it, it won't allow me to comment back. But I appreciate you coming through to the stream. Hopefully your Monday is going well. Theotis, he says, what's good, Jay? Otis, man, your show is great, my brother. 100, bang, bang. Cannot wait to see Trey. Same here, man. Same here. Do you think Trey should be the starter week 1, or do you think Jimmy should be the starter? Let me know in them comments. Monica says, for sure, Payo, respect. Let's see. Let's see. So Chimpanzee says, just to let you know, I'm Brady Ching, but I don't know how to change my name. Okay. I appreciate you coming through to the stream, Brady. Appreciate you coming through. The Remelia Sports Report. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. Thanks for tuning in to your boy, Jay in the Bay. And like I said, of course, we talk about the faithful. We talk about the Niner Empire. But of course, I'm welcoming of all NFL teams from all NFL fan bases, and Remelia obviously represents that LA Rams to the fullest, and I appreciate him coming through supporting Jay in the Bay. And I know you're excited as me for training camp. Let's see. Monica says, haha, yeah, he got to do it before midnight because his contract is with Sleep Number. Interesting. Ronnie representing them good old ATL Falcons. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Tell Big Low Country I said what's good. And hopefully you guys doing good over there in that ATL. See, Payo Time says, Jay, when the day comes when you interview Trey Lance, please title that video Trey in the Bay. That would be amazing. Amazing if I could interview Trey Lance. That'd be dope. Stud, what's good? How's you doing, man? How you doing, Stud? Hopefully your weekend went well. Appreciate you tuning in to Jay in the Bay. And as Monica say, on a Monday. Let's see, Raruna says in regards to Payo Time, Trey will be the king of the West. He will rule up to Kansas City. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping that Trey Lance will set this organization on fire and be the quarterback for years to come. Swan song, what's good? Hopefully your weekend went well. How you doing on a Monday? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Let's see. Swan Song says Deshaun Watson needs to beat all his legal issues before a team will be interested. I mean, it seems like some teams are interested, but even if the team trades for Deshaun Watson, will he even play this year? I mean, I'd be surprised by that. I don't think he plays this year with all his, with all his issues. I'd be surprised if he played this year. Let's see. CJ Ruthless says I had those issues too with comments. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes, I mean, it rarely happens, but then when it does, it's like I don't know what that person said, but sometimes that's a YouTube issue. Swan Song says it's way too risky right now to trade for Deshaun. No, I agree, because you don't know. Obviously, the long term, yeah, you want to make that move, but who knows how many games he'll miss this year. Swan Song says he wants Trey to be the starter. Is Kyle and the rest of the coaches thinks he's ready. Okay. So if Jimmy G, starts the Niners season and let's say the first 8 games were 6-2, but Coach Shanahan thinks that Trey Lance is ready. Swan Song, do you think Trey Lance should start ahead of Jimmy G, who's been playing well? What do you think about that? I think Jimmy should keep the job as long as he's healthy and the team is winning and he's playing well. But we'll see. That's why they play the games. Corey Davis says, I have not seen the guy called 49ers Nation. Did he change his name? I'm not sure. 49ers First Take says, hey, Jay, I just want to say thanks for the support, hopping into my streams, even for a second. Absolutely, man. It's very important, that we support each other. And I think that's something that we all do. And, even if it's, only a few minutes or whatever, if we got obligations and things like that, but yeah, I always try to come through into the streams just to say what's good. And, just to see what everyone else doing. Because I like to go into other people's streams and learn something I didn't know about the Niners. And usually that's the case when I go in, or I'm just going in to just have some fun and talk about the Niner Empire. 49ers Ultimate Report. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, 49ers Ultimate Report. I was watching your stream earlier today, and you had a few guests on, so that was cool, man. Keep doing what you're doing, John J. Coach Dante is giving a shout out to everyone in the chat. And let's see. Familiar Sports Report says at Payo Time, not a huge deal, but young gut needs to camp ramps, and Payo Time agrees with that. Coach Dante says the Houston Texans are listening to calls for Deshaun Watson. I think that would be smart. John Clark, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. So he says this is Channel 49. I appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. I appreciate you. Swan Song says if Kyle thinks he's ready, you go for it. Coaches, no. No, I would agree with that. I think I'm riding with whatever Shanahan decides. And if he thinks Trey is ready and he thinks that Trey gives the 49ers a better chance to win, then I'm down with that. Let's see. Swan Song says, look at when they pulled Alex Smith for Cap. Yeah, and that's a good point. Alex did suffer that concussion, and then that allowed Kaepernick to get that start, and basically he kept the job. And Swan Song says, but still Cap kept the spot even when Alex came back. That's true. Yep. JC49 Fish says, with Jimmy, the offense is very limited. I think that's what they say. But I think Shanahan loves to run the ball. That's what he loves to do. He loves to run the ball. I think he's going to want to run the ball at least 30 times a game, win the time of possession, limit the other offenses, opportunities to score. And I think you do that with a strong running game and you got a strong defense. Swanson says, but I think if Kyle thinks Trey gives him the best chance to win, even at 6-2 winning record, you do it. That's interesting. I see you. Interesting perspective. Let's see. Swanson says it just depends how good Jimmy looks and how Trey looks. And that's why we got training camp. That's why we got preseason, and I can't wait. And he says, because what if they are 6-2 as Jimmy is just playing okay? I think if Jimmy is playing okay and the team is still winning, and as long as Jimmy ain't turning over the ball, I think we stick with Jimmy unless Shanahan feels that Trey is getting better and better every week, and if he feels that Trey will give the Niners a better chance to win. Then we ride with that. Coach Dante says, because I don't think Deshaun Watson is going to play this year anyway, and try to get some first-round picks and position players back for him in longest is the right deal for him. Yeah, I was thinking that Texas should have done that a long time ago. Texans definitely should have done that a long time ago. Coach Dante says the Texans don't have to rush. They don't have to trade him right then and there. They can just hold them until the right deal comes up. That's true. You want to get the most compensation you can get for Deshaun, and I respect that. Pale Time says, I would like Trey Lance to start from a football fan perspective, but I think Jimmy is a proven winner. Yeah, there's no doubt that Trey Lance he'll be more exciting. He's more dynamic as far as his involvement with the offense. But Jimmy has proven, Shanahan doesn't have a winning record without Jimmy G under center. Those are facts. And Jimmy G is a proven winner when he's healthy. And I think there's a reason why Jimmy is still on the team. Now, if they would have cut Jimmy, in March of this year, then I would expect Trey Lance to start from day one, or maybe another, bridge quarterback to start like the first month and then put Trey in. But we got Jimmy on the roster. I think we should use him as long as he's playing well. Swanson says, but imagine a vertical play action game, Jay. I mean, I think Jimmy does that well. He hits Kittle well. Jimmy doesn't throw the ball deep. And would that change with Trey Lance? It definitely seems like Trey Lance has a rocket of an arm. It definitely seems like he threw deep in college, but that was in college. We'll see what happens in the NFL, and I can't wait to see Trey in training camp and preseason. Swanson says, just imagine with Trey rolling out, then throwing deep to the IQ show. That would be amazing to see. And does Shanahan not trust Jimmy to make throws deep? Does Jimmy G not trust his offensive line? I don't know. We really don't know. And we'll see what changes the offense has once Trey Lance is in. JC says, but remember with Matt and Julio deep passes? Yeah. I mean, Julio's definitely a deep threat. The Niners don't have a receiver on the roster who is as good as Julio Jones, I don't think. But I mean, Jimmy has thrown deep. For some reason, they don't ask him to throw deep. It could be Shanahan doesn't trust Jimmy. We really don't know. Shanahan trusts Jimmy enough to keep him on the roster and paying him $27 million. So Shanahan trusts Jimmy. I think there's no denying that. He trusts him to a certain extent, but for the people that say, the offense will open up with Trey, I just want to see it. Coach Dante giving his input on the 49ers quarterback situation. He says if the Niners are 6-2 and Jimmy G is starting, I don't believe you should put him on the bench. You keep rolling with the hot hand. I agree with that as well, because if Trey struggles, then you're going to have to take Trey out and put Jimmy in. Do you really want to have to do that? Definitely don't want to see that. We don't want to have a Miami Dolphins situation with like Tua and Ryan Fitzmagic. Definitely don't want to see that. But that's a risk that Shanahan would take if he decided to take Jimmy out and put Trey in, even though the team is already winning. I think you stick with Jimmy. Luke Luna, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. He says, yo, my dude, just got done tattooing. What's good? How's your Monday going, man? I appreciate you coming through to the stream. We're just talking about the faithful, the Niner Empire. I appreciate you coming through. See, let me continue on with these comments. See, KD says, I think we should stick with Jimmy G. That's my quarterback. While we are winning, I don't want to do like Miami. Exactly, KD. Great minds, we think alike, man. If Jimmy G's playing good, I think we stick with Jimmy G. I just don't see why we would take out a quarterback who's winning to put in a quarterback who we think is going to be better. It'd be different if Jimmy G was struggling, turning over the ball, got hurt. Then yeah, you put Trey in. But with Jimmy G's playing well, I think you keep Jimmy in. Swan Song says the 49ers have proven that they can win with a mid-level quarterback. Well, we haven't won the Super Bowl, but we got really, really, really close. Theotis says, I think the 49ers are building to beat the Bucks, and I believe that we go 14-3. All right, man. I appreciate your perspective, man. I was thinking maybe like 12-5. I think our division games will be really tough this year. Also, we have some tough games, against Tennessee. I would say Green Bay. And speaking of Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers is back in the building. Well, it's not official yet, but I've heard things today that basically stipulated that Rodgers is reworking his contract with the Green Bay Packers, and it will keep him with the Packers this year, and the Packers will basically trade him after the year, after this year, so next offseason. So that will affect the red and gold for sure, because we played the Packers Sunday Night Football prime time. And that's going to be the home opener at Levi Stadium. Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers will come into town. That should be a good game. I think we should still win, but Aaron Rodgers is an excellent quarterback, and also Devontae Adams. I'm intrigued to see that matchup between Jason Verrett and Devontae Adams. And also, of course, they got Aaron Jones. You can't forget about Aaron Jones. And their defense is solid. We'll see how their run defense is, because I think we can definitely exploit them in the running game for sure. Swanson says Jimmy is average. Make no mistake about it. I think he's slightly above average when he's playing his best. But unfortunately for Jimmy, his worst attribute is not being able to stay on the field. That's his worst attribute to me. The Ramelia Sports Report. He says at Jay in the Bay, Ayuk and Debo could be a great kick returning tandem if Kyle put them out there. Maybe in special situations to be safe. What you think? Nah, I mean, Ayuk and Debo, they are our best receivers. They are our number 1 and 2. And I've heard that of other situations where number 1 wide receivers have performed on kick returns and punt returns. But I just think our wide receiving core is too thin for that. I know we have a lot of wide receivers on the roster, but we don't have a lot of proven playmakers on the roster. It'd have been different if we would have went out and got Julio Jones. He would have been our number 1, and then we would have had Ayuk, Debo, and another receiver would have stepped up. Then maybe put Ayuk or Debo back there in special teams. But we are too thin at the wide receiver position. We are way too thin. If Ayuk, Debo, or Kittle get hurt, one of those 3, I think this offense could be in trouble if we can't run the ball. I just think we will have a hard time moving the ball if one of those 3 playmakers are not on the field. And hopefully in the special teams department, we did draft Elijah Mitchell, the running back. Hopefully he can contribute in that area. We signed wide receiver Trent Sherfield from the Arizona Cardinals. We also got Nsimba Webster from your LA Rams. Maybe he can contribute in the special teams area. So hopefully they exhaust other resources, because I don't think you want to put your best receiver, even though they could provide a spark, but then if he gets hurt, what's more important, special teams or the offense? Obviously, it's great to have special teams, but the offense is going to be on the field a lot more times, a lot more snaps on the offensive side of the ball than special teams, which is one play. We need Ayuk and Debo to be on the field more often than not, and I'd much rather have them on the offensive side of the ball and not special teams. Swan Song says, but he has no threat of running. And if you were talking about Jimmy G, yes, you are correct. He is not a threat to run the ball. Definitely Trey Lance will be an upgrade there, but let's allow Trey Lance to prove that he's better than Jimmy G. Let's just allow him to prove that. Can he read defenses and at an NFL level? There's also going to be a speed adjustment compared from the college to the pros. There's definitely a difference. And let's just see what he can do going up against a defense. Swanson says Trey can roll out and run. I agree in that play action. I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Let's just see him do it. Not against air. Let's see him do it against the defense. That's all I'm saying, Swan Song. I just want to see it for my own eyes. Let's see how he plays against a defense. That's all I'm saying. That's why I can't wait for training camp and preseason. T.O., what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, T.O. How you doing on a Monday? He says, what's up, Jay in the Bay? What's good? The best 49ers commentator ever. Keep up the good work. You the man. Niners for life. I appreciate your kind words. You're too kind, man. But I appreciate you coming through to the stream. And hopefully your week is going well. JC49 Fish says, we'll see in preseason who's better, Jimmy or Lance. Yeah. I think the edge right now is Jimmy. Lance obviously is be more exciting, more dynamic to the offense, but I just want to see. I've seen what Jimmy can do in the NFL. I haven't seen what Trey can do. So my favorite to win that job. And Kyle Shanahan said there is no quarterback competition, but do you guys believe that? I don't know. Swanson says defenses have learned how to defend Jimmy G. Well, I mean, what Jimmy G? I think he's 22-8 starting quarterback. That's his record. And Shanahan has yet to have a winning season without Jimmy G. I think there's a reason Jimmy G is still on this roster. I think he has value to this team, and I think that's why Jimmy G is still on this roster. Shanahan doesn't fully trust him, no, but I think he trusts him enough that, hey, when Jimmy's healthy, he's making good decisions. We win games with Jimmy G, and I think that's why he's still on this team. Let's see, Payo time. Just saw his comment. Hold on 1 second. Payo time says, biggest question I have with Trey is his football IQ. That is one thing you have to give to Jimmy G. Going to be a fun storyline to follow for sure. Yeah, I mean, they were saying in the draft process that Trey Lance was, very smart. His IQ was high. And that's great, but let's see what he does when he has to go up against the defense. I just want to see him prove that he can still be better than Jimmy when it comes to reading defenses, making the right read, throwing accurately. Against opposing defenses, read coverages, things like that. And you really can't see that if a guy is just playing, if he's just basically playing catch in the park. You don't know what happens when he actually plays against a defense. That's what I want to see, because I've seen what Jimmy can do. Now let's see what Trey can do. Let's see. Swan Song says there's no threat of running, no threat of the long ball with Jimmy G. Maybe that changes this year, Swan Song. Maybe that changes this year. The Niners have reinforced the offensive line, re-signing the big silver back and Trent Williams. Also bringing over Alex Mack. Lincoln Tomlinson is still on that left side. We're going to have a great camp battle. That's also something else I want to get into today, where the camp battles that the 49ers will have, obviously at running back, wide receiver, right guard, and possibly at the cornerback spot. But I think this 49er offensive line has been revamped. McGlinchey, don't sleep on McGlinchey. I know that sounds like fake news, but don't sleep on McGlinchey. McGlinchey definitely had a down year last year when it comes to pass blocking. He came into camp this year. McGlinchey, he put some weight on. That's very good. He's in a contract year. He's going to want to sign a lucrative contract extension next offseason. So McGlinchey should ball out. He should be an anchor on the right side of that offensive line. And hopefully this allows Jimmy to have more confidence in the offensive line and maybe throw deep more. Maybe Shanahan will advise him to throw deep more. We'll see. And Swanson says, so the defense will sit on that. Okay. Swanson also says if he's playing good, but if he is just okay, then all bets are off. Yeah. If Jimmy limits his turnovers, makes good decisions, good reads, team is winning, I think you keep him in there. T.O. says he predicts the Niners will win their 6th championship and getting ready to start their 2nd dynasty. Niners for life. All right. I'm definitely down with that. Let's just take it game by game, though. Let's see what happens, but I appreciate your optimism. Swanson says Jimmy can struggle and we can still be 6-2. I mean, there's no doubt. We want to run the ball. So if Jimmy struggles, we can definitely run the ball. But if Jimmy struggles for multiple games at a time and Shanahan is losing confidence in him, kind of like how McVay lost confidence in Jared Goff, then yeah, go ahead and put Trey Lance in. If you think Trey Lance can give the Niners a better chance to win, then I'm all for it. Swanson says the Bucs have a huge advantage. Their division is terrible. I mean, the Saints, how will they be with Jameis? Michael Thomas, I hear, is going to miss some time. Let's see. The Panthers, don't sleep on the Panthers. They're an up-and-coming team. And then the Falcons, the Falcons, I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year. But yeah, the Bucs definitely are the better team in that division. Payo Time says, hit that like button. Cool. People, yeah, I appreciate everyone in the chat. Go ahead, leave a thumbs up for the chat if you're enjoying the stream. Also, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to your boy, Jay in the Bay. Also, you can follow me on IG and Twitter. Swanson says the Bucs can go 6-0 in their division. It's funny you mentioned that because last year, they struggled against the Saints. I mean, the Saints beat them twice in the regular season. And the Bucs did have their number in that playoff game, but you never know. Super Bowls aren't won in the regular season. Coach Dante says I have Green Bay winning the division. We know Aaron Rodgers might be playing. Yeah, if Aaron Rodgers is playing, Packers are definitely the favorite in that NFC North division. Luke Luna says, wasn't Jimmy G like top 5 in deep ball completion percentage? They just don't ask him to do it enough. That's on the wide receiver too. But believe Jimmy is going to ball out. Watch. I had heard of that stat. Wasn't 100% sure about that. But for some reason, I agree. They just don't ask him to do it. Shanahan doesn't ask him to do it. I don't know if it's the wide receivers. I don't know if Jimmy doesn't feel he has time in the pocket. I don't know, but I agree with Luke. I think Jimmy will have his best season because this is Jimmy's, Jimmy's career as an NFL starter is on the line this year. Why do I say that? If Jimmy gets hurt again, he's hurt multiple games, or he struggles, I don't see a team trading for him and paying him $27 million a year to be a quarterback. I think if Jimmy struggles and the Niners can't trade his contract in the offseason, he'll get cut. And then maybe he'll be a backup. He'd probably be a good backup, but Jimmy knows that his time in San Francisco is not long. Let's just be real. So he's got to put on his best performance so that a team will trade for him in the offseason. And that's why I think Jimmy G will play pretty well. I think he'll play pretty well as long as he stays healthy. And Swan Song, like many other NFC West fans have said that, the 49ers are in the toughest division, that good old NFC West. Don Clark says, I think Jimmy is going to be ultra motivated this year, which is great for us. Next year is Trey's year. I agree. Jimmy will be very motivated. He came into camp looking good. He has the right attitude. He's a professional about this. He knows that this is a business. And, every year you have to prove that you're still the best at your position on the team. Most players, you still have to prove that. Now, there are the exceptions like TB12. Obviously, he doesn't have anything to prove. But most players, they still have to prove year in and year out that they still should be the starter at their position. Corey Davis says he is going to training camp Saturday, August 7th. All right, man. That's dope. Yeah, I think that's going to be the I think that's going to be the practice that's at Levi Stadium. So yeah, enjoy yourself, man. That's pretty dope that you're going to be there. You got to give us some intel on how it was. I think that's going to be also Dwight Clark Day as well. So that's pretty good, man. John Clark says Jimmy G in Miami next year. Mark my words. Wow. So you don't, obviously you're not a believer in Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, we'll see. He's got all the weapons he needs to succeed on that Miami offense. So, we'll see. Sean T. Uber, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Sean T. I went ahead and downloaded that game that you were playing last night, and the Hangman game, and I'm pretty much hooked, man. That's definitely a brain twister. Keeps your mind working. But yeah, I appreciate your stream, man. I got to continue to check you out. And he says, thumbs up, buddy. Appreciate you coming through, Sean T. Luke Luna says Jimmy could go to the Broncos next year as well as the Texans, but Miami and the Broncos would be good for Jimmy. So I would think we would send him there, one of those places. Also, what about the Washington football team? That could be interesting as well. They could be looking for a quarterback. Let's see. Swan Song says, what is Jimmy's record in the last 10 games? I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'm assuming it's probably not good. Because last year, Jimmy, he didn't play his best. And, end up getting hurt. But yeah, there's no doubt. So answer me this, Swan Song. Why do you think Jimmy G is still on the team? You mentioned all these things about Jimmy, and I definitely respect your opinion, but why do you think Shanahan still wants Jimmy on the team? There's got to be a reason, right? It's not money, because the 49ers can get out of Jimmy G's contract. Yes, he does have 2 years left, but they're not guaranteed. I believe it's 2 years, $54 million total, $56 million total. But if the Niners cut him tomorrow, they would only owe him $2 million. So it's not money. So why does Shanahan still have Jimmy G on the team? And there's got to be value in that. There's got to be. Let me know. Swan Song. Swan Song says Shanahan hasn't had another quarterback that is a starter. That's true. Beathard and Mullins definitely weren't starter material. But, I think, what's his name? I forgot the 49ers quarterback who started the season 2017. I think it was, what was his name? I'm forgetting his name, but he's basically been a career backup. But I mentioned him because he was the starter with the Niners, and obviously that was the worst year of Shanahan's tenure, 2017. But Jimmy G has been the best quarterback on this team since Shanahan has been here. There's no doubt about that. And drafting Trey Lance will definitely give Jimmy a run for his money, and I think it'll push Jimmy. And I think a motivated Jimmy is a great Jimmy. And I think that I think Jimmy will have a good year this year. Shanti Uber says Jimmy is definitely a good fit in Miami. Plenty of porn stars over there. That's funny. John, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, John. He says, what are your thoughts on the right guard position battle? Any predictions? So Daniel Brunskill is I guess you could say he is the starter for now at right guard, but we drafted a right guard in the draft, and Aaron Banks, Bay Area kid, graduated from Notre Dame. Excellent player. I don't think he allowed a sack in college. There was some crazy stat out like that. So I think he will definitely give Brunskill a run for his money. I have no idea who's going to win the position, but whoever wins, the 49ers will be in good hands, because Brunskill, he's played multiple positions on the offensive line. He knows Shanahan's scheme really well. I think he does have an advantage, but Aaron Banks is the young gun, and he's a big guy. It seems like there's a reason why the Niners drafted him. They believe that he can fit into the Niners scheme, and if he doesn't start this year, he'll most likely definitely start next year. But I think that'll be a good battle. And I think whoever the best man wins will definitely elevate the talent on that offensive line. But that's definitely one battle to look out for. And that's also something I want to talk about. Also, I didn't even get a chance to get into the latest news. Trey Lance, obviously, he's not yet signed his rookie contract. And the 49ers signed defensive end Eddie Yarbrough Basically, he's been a journeyman defensive lineman for the last 4 years. I don't expect him to start on the team. We'll see if he makes the 53-man roster, but that was the news that broke out today that the 49ers signed defensive end Eddie Yarbrough. So we'll see him in camp the next few days. Swan Song says McGlinchey obviously can do no worse than last year, I hope. Yeah, because it seems like that was just a fluke. I don't know how you feel, Swan Song, but McGlinchey played well when Staley was his left tackle. And for some reason last year, I don't know why he dropped weight. We don't know. We don't know if the 49ers asked him to do that. We don't know if he took it upon himself to do that. But McGlinchey should have a great year. It's a contract year. He's going to ball out. He's going to want to get that generational wealth for him and his family. And I expect McGlinchey to have an excellent year. Tio says, salute to Jay in the Bay, Panama, Colombia, Trinidad, Bermuda, Ecuador, and Jamaica. You have international family. We got your back, bro. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you, Tio. Make sure you tell your friends and family about your boy, Jay in the Bay. Man, I appreciate you coming through to the stream. I wish I could go to those places that you just mentioned. Those are definitely beautiful areas, and I appreciate all the support coming from that side, man. I appreciate it. Theotis says, how about Brandon versus Debo for that number one wide receiver? Who do you think? I think it's the Ayuk show. I think it's Brandon Ayuk. I think it's his position to lose. I think he is the better wide receiver. Debo had a sophomore slump last year. He didn't really recover from that broken foot. I mean, I guess you could say he recovered, but then he suffered a hamstring injury, and that basically ended his season. So Debo Samuel, he's been looking good in training camp. We're definitely going to need the three studs on the offensive side of the ball who are catching the ball. That's Kittle, that's Ayuk, and that's Debo. I think we're going to need all three of them in order to have a successful season, especially on offense. But I think Brandon is the clear-cut number one. Let's see. Shanti Uber says, wow, dude, you almost there, Jay, to 1K. Yeah, I appreciate all the support, man. And, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully I can get to 1,000 subscribers before the season start. And it's been a wonderful journey. And I appreciate, everyone's support. Swanson says, Jimmy is more likely going to be a career backup in 2 to 3 years. If he doesn't continue to get better, then you're right about that. There's no argument there. He says Swanson would rather bank on Jimmy being a backup for the next 2 to 3 years than him being a starter for another team for the next 5 years. Well, we'll see. Luke Luna is giving us his perspective on the wide receiver camp battle. He's got Brandon Ayuk number 1, Debo number 2, Hurd or Sanu number 3. Why do you believe in Mohamed Sanu? I know he had a cup of coffee with the team. In 2020, he played 3 games. He only had 1 catch. He was cut. No doubt, Sanu is looking good in training camp. He looked good in the mini camp, and he's been working out with Trey Lance. He's looking good. He's looking spry. But I'd be surprised. Honestly, I'd be surprised if Sanu makes the team. I'd be surprised. But hopefully that number 3 wide receiver spot, may the best man win. But I have a feeling it's going to be Hurd, Jennings, or Richie James. That's what I think. Swanson says Jimmy gets hurt, the 49ers are screwed. Well, nah, because we got Trey area. There's a reason why the Niners drafted him, but I think if Trey has to start, will he be better than Jimmy? We don't know. Will he be more dynamic than Jimmy? There's no doubt about that. Yes. But time will tell. Swanson says, if he suffers a season-ending injury or one that requires surgery, that's definitely going to be an issue. That's for sure. Swanson says we could have Jimmy on the books for 2022 as well. That's an interesting point. Yeah. So if he does get hurt, is his contract guaranteed for 2022? That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. I don't know if his contract is guaranteed for injury. That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Swanson, that's the $50 million cap hit. Yeah, I'd have to do more research on that. If he gets hurt, I don't know if his contract is automatically guaranteed that last year, or the Niners have up until like April or March of next year to cut him. I'm not sure about that. Shanti Uber says Trey should impress if Jimmy gets hurt. I think he will. I think he should play well. And Swan Song says, what other choice do we have than to keep Jimmy? Well, there's a lot of choices. If Jimmy is just an average quarterback, can't you just get any other average quarterback in the league? I mean, is Tyrod Taylor average? Yeah. Who else? Is Mitchell Trubisky average? Yeah. Is Andy Dalton average? The Niners could have cut, traded, asked Jimmy to take a pay cut. They could have done all that. Or they could have gotten the quarterbacks I had just mentioned and replaced Jimmy with those quarterbacks, right? Like if Jimmy's average, if Jimmy has no value, we could have easily gotten another quarterback in here and traded or cut Jimmy. But for some reason, Shanahan trusts Jimmy, you know, because the Niners could have cut him. The Niners could have gotten rid of Jimmy. The Niners could have gotten rid of Jimmy and would only have to pay him $2 million of the 56, 58 that is still owed to him, right? Obviously, Shanahan values Jimmy G. I know some people don't want to see it. I know some people say, yeah, 2019 was a fluke. Any quarterback back there could have got us to the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying you're saying that, Swan Song, but that's the feeling I get when people don't want to give Jimmy credit. It's like, oh, well, any quarterback could have been in there. But if Jimmy didn't have value to this team, as I mentioned, we could have got any other quarterback. Get Tyrod Taylor, Mitchell Trubisky, Andy Dalton. Get one of those three. If Jimmy's just average, and they could have had the same level of production as Jimmy. But clearly, I think Shanahan sees something in Jimmy. I think so. Corey Davis says, you and Niner Sickness are live at the same time. I have him on my phone and you on my computer. I appreciate the support, man. And shout out to Niner Sickness. I did not know he was going on at the same time as me. But I appreciate your support, KD. Swan Song says, you see how many times we tried to get another quarterback in the offseason. Well, yeah. So we were rumored to get Matt Stafford. We were rumored to get Deshaun Watson. And I agree. Those quarterbacks I feel are on another level than Jimmy G. And I can see that. Deshaun Watson, Matt Stafford, yes, they're on another level than Jimmy G. But that's what I expect. Unfortunately, Jimmy G has forced Shanahan's hand because Jimmy G can't stay on the field healthy. He just can't stay on the field. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised at all that Shanahan is looking to upgrade the quarterback position. And I think once Deshaun Watson, the legal trouble started to come to light, Shanahan and Lynch made one of the boldest moves in Niner Empire history by trading up to the top 3 pick and then eventually selecting Trey Lance. Once they did that, writing was on the wall for Jimmy. The future is very bright for this franchise. And if Jimmy G balls out, he could be on another team next year, balling out for that other team. Redder 4, what's good? Representing good old Pittsburgh Steelers. How you doing on a Monday? Swan Song says he's still on the team because Trey has to show he's ready. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is an answer. I don't think it's the answer. Because as I mentioned, since Jimmy's average, then get rid of Jimmy. He's not worth the money. And then bring in another average quarterback and pay him half the money you're paying Jimmy, right? If Jimmy's average, that's what the Niners would have did, but they didn't. Let's see. Swan Song says they can't just gamble putting Trey out before he's ready. I totally agree. Swan Song says Hoyer isn't a legit starter. Okay. What about Tyrod Taylor? What about Andy Dalton? What about Mitchell Trubisky? Are those legit starters? Swan Song says we have dog water quarterbacks during Jimmy's tenure. Yeah, they weren't good. And Swan Song agrees with my statement that Jimmy is playing for his career this year, no doubt. Swan Song feels that Jimmy G only has before the trade deadline to prove it. Okay. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't come to fruition and hopefully all our players stay healthy, you know. Luke Luna says Denver, Washington for sure. I was just telling someone Washington would be a threat with Jimmy. I think Denver and Washington would be the most likely landing spot for him. Yeah, I can see that. Washington, Denver. Someone mentioned earlier, maybe Houston. Um, Trying to think, maybe even New Orleans Saints. You know, there's no guarantee that Jameis Winston's going to ball out, so that could be an option as well. Redder says Lance will be better than Jimmy eventually. That's what we're all hoping for sure. Swanson says Trey will be signed either tomorrow or right before practice starts Wednesday. That's what I hope for, Swanson. Swanson says McGlinchey gained weight, and I'm sure he's been motivated to clear his name in his career. Exactly, because unfortunately he put on some bad film last year. Redder says he wants Steelers versus Niners, and I'm looking forward to that the next time we play. Redder 4 says Sanu was good on Falcons. I know that because Falcons are my second favorite team. Yeah, Sanu was good on the Falcons, but that was like, I want to say like what, 5 years ago when he was pretty good. I don't know what else he has left, but he's got training camp and preseason to prove it. Swanson says Jalen Hurd is a 49ers remake of the movie Weekend at Bernie's. Okay. I mean, you know, I hope Jalen and Juwan Jennings can be healthy for training camp and preseason because I think they could be the number 3 wide receiver. JC49 Fish, Niner for Life says we still need to see Rosen. Maybe he's good on Kyle's offense. I mean, if we have to see Josh Rosen or Nate Sudfeld play multiple games in the regular season, I think, you know, the season's probably over. Let's see. Redder 4 says Sanu went to the Pats and wasn't good. Yeah. That wasn't a good trade for the Pats. Swanson says they can still cut him. We will see, right? Yeah, I'd be shocked if they cut him before week 1. You know, I'd be shocked. But I guess that would mean that Trey is ready to go. You know, I think that would mean that Trey's ready to go. And I guess I'm riding with Shanahan. Whoever he thinks gives the Niners the best chance to win, I'm riding with Shanahan. So if Shanahan says, "Hey Jimmy, you're not worth the money we're paying you. We don't think we don't think you give us a better chance to win over Trey," then they cut Jimmy and they put Trey in as starter. Then I'm willing to roll with that. Definitely willing to roll with that. Roberto Hastings, what's good? He says, much love, Jay. I appreciate you coming through, Roberto. Let's see. John says, apart from Trey Lance, who else are you looking forward to see ball out in training camp? I want to see our young secondary ball out in training camp. Ambry Thomas, Demordy, Lenore, and Talanoa Hufanga. I want to see our young secondary ball out. I know we have Jason Verrett. He's on a 1-year deal. K'Wan Williams is on a 1-year deal. Emmanuel Mosley, he's on a 2-year deal. And I think one of the young corners could get significant playing time this year. And also next year, those 2 corners could potentially be our starter. So I want to see how they do in training camp going up against, you know, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, and the rest of the receivers. I would say I also want to see, you know, who's going to win that wide receiver spot. Definitely looking forward to seeing that. Let's see, anyone else ball out? Let's see. I want to see who's gonna ball out behind George Kittle. That'd be Ross Dwelly. I know we signed Pruitt, the tight end from the Tennessee Titans, because there's a significant drop off, I think, in receiving talent behind George Kittle. And who's going to ball out? Who's going to be that starting, or I should say that number 2 behind George Kittle? And I'm looking forward to seeing that in training camp. Who are you looking forward to seeing in training camp, John? Let me know in them comments. Oh, looks like he says, for me, Nick Bosa. Okay. Yeah, Nick Bosa is coming back from that torn ACL. You know, hopefully he will be on a snap count when the regular season starts, but I don't envision seeing him that much in training camp and preseason. I don't think he'll play in the preseason. I'd be surprised by that. But But yeah, hopefully we see him on the field working out and being healthy. And KD, I already know how you feel, KD. KD says he thinks Jimmy G is better than Matt Stafford. Hot diggity dog. Well, I appreciate your perspective, but I don't know too many teams that would take Jimmy G over Matt Stafford. Just being real, I don't. I think there's a reason why the Rams went out and got Matt Stafford. You know, he doesn't have the playoff success, but there's no doubt he could sling that rock with the best of them. So let's see. Luke says, I just believe in Sanu. He has good hands and he can play that Bourne role. I think he can be a workhorse so Mr. Glass doesn't get injured before the playoffs. He can play that power slot type role. Okay, I respect it. I mean, if it turns out after training camp that he's the best number 3 we got, then I'm down with it. As long as he can make plays. And Bourne, he wasn't asked to do too much. He made the tough catches on third downs. He would move the chains. He didn't really run away from guys, but he was still, he had solid hands. Bourne did, and yeah, if Sanu can fit that role, that would be just what we need. Let's see. Swan Song says those guys don't know the offense. Okay, let me know who you're referring to. Payo Time says who is under more pressure for their career, Golf or Jimmy? I would say it's definitely Jimmy. Jimmy has a lot to prove. At least Golf has been healthy. He's just been kind of sporadic with his play, but at least Golf has been healthy in his career. And I don't think anyone's expecting Jared Goff to really revitalize that Detroit Lions team. I think we'd be surprised if we see that. They're kind of rebuilding. Jimmy G's definitely got a lot more on the line this year for sure. Swan Song says both under pressure, maybe Jimmy more because he's older. Okay. Reddit 4 says some people going to disagree about this, but I think Golf is worse than Jimmy G. Interesting. Okay. Golf is worse than Jimmy G. I don't know. I mean, Golf had some moments where he played well. And then he had some moments where, McVay was pulling his hair out. So I don't know. If those are your two best quarterbacks, in some people's eyes, you're in trouble, But I think they're both solid. They're both solid quarterbacks. Swanson says, I can't argue that Jimmy is better than Golf. They both have different pros and cons, both average. Yeah, I agree. They are at their best. I think they're a little bit above average. But I think Golf, definitely there were limitations in that offense under McVay. Reddit 4 says Matthew was a big upgrade over Golf for the Rams. I agree. Swanson says, I think the 49ers' best move is to say to Jimmy, play hardball and say, hey, you either restructure to backup money, high backup money, or we cut you. And that's a great point, Swanson, especially due to the inability for Jimmy to stay healthy. I mean, that's something I would love to ask John Lynch. Did you ask Jimmy G to restructure his contract? If no, why not? Especially since you're drafting a quarterback to eventually replace him. I mean, what leg does Jimmy G really have to stand on? He's been hurt. Granted, he was a part of that Super Bowl team, but I wonder if John Lynch asked Jimmy that. We'll never know. Travis Berg Jr., what's good? Incredible time for all NFL fan bases. As Travis Berg mentions, preseason is literally weeks away. So crazy time flies. Yeah. I mean, next time we look up, the week one will be here. Everyone will be excited about their team. Everyone's starting at 0-0, and it's anyone's game at that point. Let's see. Swanson says they won't do that, of course, but I would. Yeah, I don't blame them if you would, but just do it earlier on in the offseason, like in March or April. Redder says, this is going to sound insane, but I think Haskins still has potential. And if Ben gets hurt, maybe he can come in and not do bad. That will be intriguing to see how that plays out because I think Ben is definitely on the back nine of his career. And Haskins, he could make the most out of his opportunity, and he could be a starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers for quite a few years. Swanson says, I want to see if Bosa is Bosa of 2019. I was listening to someone earlier today on the 49er Ultimate Report YouTube channel. Check it out if you haven't already. And he was saying, we should temper our expectations of Nick Bosa. He's coming off of the torn ACL. Hopefully, Bosa is on a snap count, and that'll allow, there's a reason why the Niners went out and got Samson Ibuka and also got Arden Key. I think he'll play edge. Samson, you got Eric Armstead, and D Ford. Hopefully D Ford could come back. Fred Warner said D Ford looking good, faithful. I mean, what else is he going to say, right? I don't think he's going to say, D Ford, he's washed up. He should just retire. He's not going to say that. But he did say that he looks good. So we'll see how D Ford is in training camp. I'm sure a lot of eyes will be on him as well. Redder says, what's the weakest position for the 49ers, but like depth-wise? Let's see. Offensively, I would say wide receiver, we have depth, but we don't have established playmakers. I would lean toward tight end. After George Kittle, there's a bit of a drop-off. I would have loved if we would have went out and got, like a Zach Ertz or somebody like that. That way, when Kittle's not on the field, we can still have a reliable target and an experienced pass catcher at the tight end position. So I would say tight end as far as depth, because there's a drop-off when Kittle's off the field. My song says, our secondary is getting old. I hope Ambry balls out, but we need to replace Jimmy and Tart in a couple of years. There are a lot of challenges for the 49ers and don't have first-rounders for 22 and 23. Yeah, Tart, he's on a 1-year deal. Jimmy Ward, I think he has 1 or 2 years left. So I'm glad the 49ers made those draft picks with the 2 young corners that we have. And I'm sure next year we're going to draft probably another safety and probably continuing to add to that cornerback position. Song says that is why Jimmy's cap hit is so important for us to build our team through free agency as well. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G's contract will be off the books next year. Also, the salary cap should be going up because of the new TV deal. And also it was down this year, obviously, because of COVID. So the cap will be going up. We should have an additional, $27 million under the cap once Jimmy's contract is off the books. And I think the Niners will use that money wise. Hopefully, I think we should add another wide receiver and probably a corner. Those would be my 2, biggest needs going into next year. Let's see. John says, I think skill set wise, you can definitely make an argument that Jimmy G is better than Stafford. But the issue with Jimmy isn't his skill set, it's his availability. His availability makes him average. Very good point, John. Very good point. I mean, it's hard to rely on him when he just hasn't been available. Very tough to do that, but great point, John. Luke says Jimmy G doesn't have to prove that he's better. Better than the goof, because we all know who is. Yeah. I mean, Jared Goof, I mean, we're not expecting him to win any playoff games with the Lions. Goff has one thing over Jimmy is that he's been healthy, though. That's one thing that Goff has over Jimmy. Corey Davis, the Rams will be trading for Jimmy G next year after Matt Stafford fails to win. We'll see. Well, we shall see, Corey Davis. I'm glad that you're keeping that same energy, and we'll see how the Rams are, because they got a rough first 6 games, and we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. Redder says Stafford's career was wasted at the Lions, but now he's on a better team. There's no doubt he's on a better team on both sides of the ball, and I think he will perform much better. Theotis, he says we will beat Green Bay if they have quarterback Aaron Rodgers. I believe that's a win. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, but I think we'll win. I think we'll be able to run the ball against the Packers, And but our secondary will be challenged, especially with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers is still playing at a high level. I think it'll be a close game. Luke Luna says time does fly. Next thing you know, we look up and Jimmy is winning us the Super Bowl. Man, wouldn't that be perfect? That would definitely be perfect, man. Swan Song says he feels secondary is probably the weakest position of depth on the team. Yeah, I mean, yeah, after Verrett, Kwan, Mosley, and then you got basically Dante Johnson, and then you got two rookie corners. Um, you know, I was surprised that we re-signed. We were able to re-sign all four corners: Johnson, Verrett, Mosley, and Kwan. But we did add depth with the rookie corners because they're going to be with the team at least the next 3 or 4 years, and they potentially could be starters. But I don't think there were any top flight corners that the Niners really wanted to give up draft picks for. I know Stephon Gilmore was rumored to be out there. He would have been excellent to pair with Jason Verrett. But I'm sure the Niners did not want to give up that draft capital that would be necessary to get Stephon Gilmore. Redder Force says, got to go. I appreciate you coming through, Redder. You're welcome anytime, man. Swanstone says, salary cap is going up for every team. It's about how much cap we have more than other teams. That's the competitive advantage. Yep. And I think Lynch and Parag Marate do an excellent job in making team-friendly contracts. Look at the Fred Warner deal. The first 2 or 3 years, his dead cap hit is minimal. And then I think it's the last 2 years or 3 years, it goes up significantly. But I would imagine if Fred Warner continues to play at an all-pro level, that contract will get reworked. And shout out to Parag Marate. He continues to do a excellent job. Theodis Barber says, how about the fullback? What do you think, Jay? Yeah, I mean, after Juice Check, I don't even know if we have another fullback on the roster. But usually you only keep one fullback on the roster. 49ers Ultimate Report says 27 likes. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all you guys leaving a thumbs up for the chat. Making sure you subscribe. I appreciate it. Stafford has a cannon of an arm, much better arm than Jimmy. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would have to agree. Swanson says if we have a pass rush, we own Green Bay like we always do. Yep. And hopefully Samsung can get about 10 sacks. And hopefully Armstead steps up as well. Armstead got the big money. His expectations come with that. I know some people say sacks are overrated, but you got to get after the quarterback, and pressures are important. But it's great if you can bring the quarterback down. John says 2019 game versus Saints, Jimmy went toe-to-toe with Drew Brees and even outdueled him that game. Jimmy isn't a scrub, but his injury prone makes. I agree, John. I totally agree with you. He had a great game against the Saints. He had a few good games against the Cardinals. And when I say good, I say better than what he normally does. And some people choose to disregard that, or they don't think about it, or they don't give Jimmy credit for that. But you got to. I think a lot of the reason why people are tired of Jimmy is because they can't depend on him. They don't know if he's gonna, be out with some injury. And you look at TB12, he played last year on a torn MCL. It's like, man, the legend of TB12 continues. But I think that's why a lot of people are just tired of Jimmy. It's just because they can't rely on him. Swanson says Kinlaw is going to have to step up this year. Absolutely. Absolutely. Swanson saying, how was that game versus the Steelers? Swanson, that's cow. Every quarterback's going to have a few duds, man. You know that. Every quarterback's going to have a few duds of a game. JC49 Fish says, hit that like button. Don't be shy. This is a good live stream. Let's go Niners. I appreciate the support, JC49. 49ers Ultimate Report says, Jay, keep on the grind and keep up this great content. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Swanson says, we lucked out and won that game when Jimmy gift wrapped it for Pittsburgh. Yeah, he had some bad throws in that game. Sometimes that happens. When you're a quarterback, you throwing the ball 25 to 30, 35 times a game. Sometimes you're gonna have some errant throws. It's just sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're gonna have some ducks out there. Corey Davis says, "What if Jared Goff beat the Rams? Do you think the Rams made a mistake of trading him?" No. I think McVay was done with Goff. McVay was definitely done with Goff. But that would be interesting though if Goff did beat the Rams. But I would be shocked. So earlier in the stream, I talked about the right guard battle, Brunskill versus Aaron Banks. That's definitely going to be a training camp battle that I think we should all look for. Of course, there's the Jimmy versus Trey Lance. We've been talking about that all day. But also, there is the running back room. What y'all think about the running backs? Unfortunately, Jeff Wilson Jr., he's going to be out until mid-November, December, but he'll have fresh legs ready to go for that playoff run. But Raheem Mostert, he's definitely an excellent back. And with Raheem Mostert, you're just worried about him staying healthy. You just hope that he can stay healthy. And I think the best way for that is to limit his carries. And that's why I'm glad we got Wayne Gallman, running back free agent from the Giants. We drafted Trey Sermon. I think he's going to be pretty well. And I think the Niners, Shanahan wants to use a plethora of running backs. He's going to have at least 4 running backs up on game day, including Juszczyk. And hopefully one of those running backs can contribute on special teams. But I'd imagine Mostert's got the edge right now as far as a starter. Then you got, I think Trey Sermon and Wayne Gallman could potentially battle for that number 2 spot. And don't forget about Jermichael Hasty. He's there as well. And Elijah Mitchell, he seems to be a similar player to Mostert as far as the speed. I hope Elijah Mitchell can contribute on special teams. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that running back room? Let's see. Swan Song says, man, Rams hated Goff so much that they're still trying to pay for his contract for this year and next year. Yeah, they wanted to get rid of him so bad. They didn't care that they're still paying him, and he's not even on the team. They're paying him not to be there. That's crazy. Niner Sickness, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Niner Sickness. We're just talking about the running back room and possible camp battle. And Niner Sickness, what do you think about Trey Lance? He still has not signed his contract. What do you think about that, Niner Sickness? Swan Song says the running back room is lit. Yes, it is. I think we will run the ball easily 30 to 35 times a game, whether Trey Lance is in the game or Jimmy G. That is the strength of this team, the offensive line, and the running back room. Swan Song says Trey Sermon is exciting. And he says that Raheem is our home run hitter. Swanson says Gallman can be our bruiser and get some carries to close out games. Yeah, and I was surprised. That we picked Sermon because, before the draft, I definitely thought obviously we were going to get quarterback, but I thought after that we would get a corner, maybe a wide receiver. That's what I thought. So I was definitely surprised when we drafted, Aaron Banks, offensive lineman, in the second round, and then we drafted Trey Sermon in the third round. But good thing, that happened because Jeff Wilson Jr. won't be available, and Trey Sermon and Wayne Gallman can help in that area. So, I think, obviously the most talked about QB, the camp battles would be the quarterback. I think the running backs, that right guard spot, and possibly the cornerback spot. It's just going to be so great to see football being played again, even though it's only training camp. I usually don't get geeked up, don't get excited for training camp or preseason, but this year I definitely am because of the influx of talent on both sides of the ball. The young guys, I can't wait to see them out there. Swan Song says Sermon is dynamic. I think he could shock us all. Okay, yeah. I mean, he definitely looked good in college. I can't wait to see what he does because he could potentially Sermon could potentially lead the team in carries. And that would be a great thing because that means he's really effective when he's in the game. Niner Sickness says Trey Lance not signed yet is interesting. Let's just hope they can get this done as 20 count starts tomorrow. Exactly. Hopefully, we'll hear about it this next tomorrow morning. That Trey Lance has signed. Swanson says, "Yeah, man, we get to know all the camp stuff starting tomorrow." Yep, and so tomorrow, the players report to camp, but there won't be any on-field activities until the following day, which will be Wednesday. That'll be the first day that the players will be on the field, and I'm eager to see the players on the field. Swanson says, "Yeah, same here. I've never got so excited for off season this much in my life." I know, right? I mean, I think it starts. We drafted a quarterback. The Niners haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since Alex Smith in 2005. So it's been a long, long time since we've drafted a quarterback. Also, with all the talent on the offensive line, we drafted the running back room, and I just can't wait to see it. It says, Swanson says, "Man, why are we sweating about signing Trey Lance?" Well, because we less than 12 hours till training camp, man. I mean, I don't think Trey's going to hold out or anything, but I'm just like, man, what's the holdup? Zach Wilson for the Jets also is holding. He hasn't signed his contract either. So Swanson says, "Bro, this happens almost every year." When was the last time this happened with the Niners, where a first round pick, basically waited 24 hours prior to signing his contract? I want to say the last one was probably Michael Crabtree, but it's been quite some time. And it's not like he's a defensive lineman or offensive lineman or wide receiver. He's the quarterback. He needs to be at camp, man. So, yep, I'm still gonna be sweating this Swan song until he's signed, until he puts ink to paper. Let's see. Swanson says it's in no party's interest for Trey or the Niners to not get it done. I definitely agree with that. Swanson says Solomon Thomas literally went on the field as camp started right after his signing. Okay. And he's a defensive lineman. A quarterback is totally different. Corey Davis says, "What round did we draft Sweet Joe Montana?" I believe that was the third round. Luke says, "Trey, hurry and sign the contract so you can warm the bench and learn how it's done behind Jimmy." I feel you, Luke. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Trey, there's no rush for you to start because we have Jimmy G. Now, if we had Brian Hoyer, starting that quarterback, then yeah, Trey, you might as well start day one. But I think, because Jimmy G is proven, we already know, we've seen Jimmy play at the highest level. And Swan Song says it's not different. Money is determined by position you could draft at. I'm saying it's different because as a defensive lineman, all he's doing is reading and reacting. He's rushing the quarterback, or he's watching the bootleg. Is he going to hit the quarterback or is he going to hit the running back? His responsibilities as a defensive lineman is in no comparison to a quarterback. A quarterback is the leader of the team. Quarterback needs to know what he's supposed to do, what the offensive linemen are supposed to do, what the wide receivers are supposed to do, what the tight ends are supposed to do. He needs to be able to read coverages. So, as far as responsibilities on the field, a quarterback has a lot more responsibilities than a defensive lineman. That's why I say it's different, and that's why Trey needs to be in camp. But hopefully I'm doing all this worrying for nothing, and hopefully he's in exactly. And as Swanson says, but that's no issue if he comes to camp day one. Exactly. And hopefully he will come into camp day one like Solomon does. So, and Swanson says that's only true if he missed camp time, which he won't. And I appreciate your comments. I don't remember this happen. Swanson says this happens every year. I don't remember this happening. Not with the quarterback, not with the quarterback of the 49ers. So Swanson says 10 years from now, people will be sweating over the same thing. Well, I appreciate everyone coming through on the chat tonight. This is obviously on a Monday night, and we're hours away from training camp. This is a very exciting time for all teams, all fan bases in the NFL. I just wanted to talk quickly about our camp battles. Obviously, at the running back position, we just spoke about at that right guard position. The wide receivers, I think that wide receivers will definitely be a battle for that number one wide receiver, or excuse me, for that number 3 wide receiver spot. And I would be an intriguing battle to see who will be the number 3 wide receiver behind Ayuk and Debo. Of course, we had to get into the Jimmy G and Trey Lance battle, but supposedly there won't be any battle. That's what Kyle Shanahan says, if you believe that. Also, I spoke about the latest news. The 49ers did sign a journeyman defensive lineman in Eddie Yarbo. And also, of course, Trey Lance has yet to sign his rookie deal. So those are the things I wanted to talk about today. And I got to give a shout out to everyone that was in the chat. I appreciate Swan Song. He has excellent opinions. We don't always agree, but I respect his opinion. I appreciate his contributions to the stream today. Shout out to Luke. Shout out to KD. Shout out to Niner Sickness. Shout out to CG Ruthless was on here. 49ers Ultimate Report. 49ers First Take. JC49 Fish. The first time I've seen you on my stream, and I appreciate you coming through. Let's see. Shout out to John. Shout out to Theodis. I appreciate you as well coming through to the stream, man. Shout out to Redder. Luke Luna. I think I said Corey Davis, but just in case I did, Corey Davis. Travis Berg Jr. I appreciate you coming through to the stream. Payo Time. Oh, yeah. And LA Ram Familia. I appreciate him coming through to the stream. Roberto. Let's see. Shanti Uber. Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Tio. That's right. Yeah, Tio. I appreciate you coming through to the stream. Let's see. John Clark. Big ups as well. Appreciate your contributions to the stream tonight. And as Swan Song says, please, God, just have an injury-free camp. I think we'll end on that. That's what I hope for not only the 49ers, but for every NFL fan base. For every NFL fan base, injuries are the worst. I don't wish them on, any franchise. And, they're terrible. And hopefully we can have an injury-free season. As Swan Song says, that is my number one wish. And looking forward to seeing the players compete. Looking forward to see positions won and lost. And, may the best man win. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. I see you guys on the next live stream. It'll definitely be this week. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Thanks for watching Jay in the Bay. See you on the next one.